Hello, bienvenidos. My name is Zayden, and welcome to my channel.
So here's the thing, everything that I just recorded got deleted. So I'm going to do my best to try and get that message back. Matter of fact, maybe this is just a sign that how I say it now is meant for how this collective needs to hear it.
So this collective feels like a very deep thinking collective, a very self-reflective group of people, intuitive, empathic, all the good things. And I think sort of to your detriment at times, because I did get an image of somebody rowing a boat downstream and starting to sink within that water. I think this collective wants to be so expansive sometimes and sees the value and almost like excitement, thrill of exploring different avenues of thinking and lifestyle and belief, that you tend to separate from what you're doing now and who you are now.
I got an image from the movie Cinderella when she's trying on the glass slipper. And even though it fits, even though you should be so thrilled and excited and celebrating the fact that it fits, your reaction is, why does it fit? What does it mean that it fits? What does that mean about me? What does it mean about the rest of my life?
I feel like as deep thinkers, we tend to forget that being human is in depth as it is. Everything about it is in depth. Everything about it is spiritual. There's always something to gain from an experience, no matter how nonsensical.
And I use that word very loosely. I don't think there's such thing because, again, you can gain from anything. I think that is where individuality is, when we start to accept the small things, not just the grand, bigger picture things.
So I got the Nine of Swords reversed and the Queen of Pentacles. I feel a lot of your stresses and worries can lessen if you just start to anchor in who you are and embrace who you are. Start to meet yourself where you are instead of questioning where you are. I think for this collective, there's a fine line between self-exploration and self-doubt and self-questioning. I think you need to learn your patterns and start to recognize when are you doing this because you feel uncomfortable about who you are and you're trying to change it, versus there is something here that I want to change about me because it feels weird now, or like this feels like a natural moment of expansion for me. And easier said than done, because I feel like you need to be in the moment to actually experience when those things are happening. But with this Nine of Swords, I know that there is like a lot of urgency that might tag along with those moments of overthinking and like, what do I do next? And like, how do I do this? And what about this? And what about that? And that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I need to figure it out, is usually pointing to some deeper wound of being afraid to accept yourself as you are now.
Because I feel like if you are chasing to find out who you are inherently running away from who you are right now. Because I feel like it is one thing to feel unsure about who you are, but I think there is always something to ground into, and I think this is kind of what this collective runs away from. Because, like, I don't think that you don't know who you are. I don't think that you don't know what you want to do, what beliefs you want to follow, what paths you want to follow. I think you're just afraid to do so. It's not that you don't know, you're afraid to know. And I think for most of us, we start to lean into that energy of urgency with trying to figure ourselves out, because I think being in that space of self-discovery forces us to start learning subjectivity, and that period can be very fucking uncomfortable, because that's when we really start to deviate from other opinions and what we've been taught, whether that be societal or within our family or lies that we have told ourselves. So it's kind of like in the process of trying to find ourselves, we are running from ourselves because we are scared to be who we actually are. Another thing that's coming through for this collective is like, you wouldn't feel so disconnected from your community or have this burden that you are so separate from your environment. Like, why does everyone around me always have something? They always figure something out and I feel like I don't have anything. That illusion, because it's not true, will be released once you start actually choosing yourself. Again, it's not that you don't know, it's that you don't choose what you know. That will come with discomfort and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong. That just means that you're human. If anything, that means you're on the right path. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing.